What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti here, podcast 55, and it's the second one since we relaunched it. You may notice, for those of you watching us on YouTube on the Super Speeders podcast channel, I am wearing a big cowboy hat. For those of you who are listening on the audio, I am also naked. I have Glenn here, also naked, and Jimbo, who is also in the podcast. We'll call it a studio. First, we're going to talk about cars and politics. I don't know. What do you want to talk about, Glenn?
I think we should talk about cars.
All right, let's start with the cars.
Well, why don't you explain why you're wearing a black cowboy hat? Why don't we start there?
Well, I'm about to go down to Texas, and I was supposed to put this hat in my truck so I didn't have to carry it through the airport. However, somebody forgot to put the hat in their truck, so I'm going to be wearing it through the airport. So if I left it on the floor over here, it's not going to Texas. So since it's going to be coming to Texas with me because I don't want to spend another $100 on a hat, I am going to wear it for this podcast and make sure it makes its way to the airport with me tomorrow.
And what are you going to be doing down in Texas?
Things. Actually, a lot of things. My truck is on its way down there now. I think it is. And let me just check my GPS here. I've got this GPS provided by Linksup, Linxup, but I'll do a video for them at some point in time. And it's doing 72 miles an hour, and it is currently outside of Nashville, Tennessee, on its way to Dallas.
Cool. So when we'll hit Texas tomorrow?
It'll be in Texas tomorrow. So it's right outside. Let's see, where is it? It's coming up on... No, it's not coming up on Jackson. But it's probably an inch and a half outside of Nashville. But without the scale of the map, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, Nashville's like in the middle of Tennessee, so they'd have to get Memphis.
Nashville's like western Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's making its way to Memphis. I don't know if it's going to hit Memphis tonight, but either way, Memphis, Little Rock, Dallas. That's the progression. Sweet. Essentially. So the truck's going down. I'm going to get the truck painted. Ideally, I loaded it up all the paint in the truck. Mm-hmm. So hopefully, I got somebody who can paint the truck while I'm down there. 2 things, 3, 4, 5 things that I'm doing while I'm down there. One, I'm going to LG Motorsports, and we're going to document the build of the Nürburgring car that they're taking to the Nürburgring.
Oh, cool.
The second thing we're doing is, that's why my Corvette is on the back of the truck, is because we are going to be fixing any cooling issues or latent issues that my Corvette had, so I can road race the balls off of it without worrying about anything overheating. Third thing is we're going to be filming the $500 car challenge / truck challenge, and that's going to be taking place Wednesday and Thursday.
Sweet.
Wednesday night, which is conveniently right now for those of you listening to the podcast as it airs, we're doing a meetup in Dallas. So we'll do a fan meet and say hello to a bunch of people, cool. Maybe. And then, so we got the truck getting painted. We're doing the $500 car challenge. We're going maybe to Gas Monkey Garage. I hit up Richard, but he's coming to New York. So do I want to go over to Gas Monkey if Richard's not even there and show off to my friends and be like, yo, I know this guy. Haha. But I'm not going to do that probably if he's not there.
What's he doing in New York? Do you know?
I don't know. We comes to New York. I go to Texas. Well, no, I never go to Texas. He comes to New York more than I go to Texas. We'll put it that way. And then last but not least, we're going to swing down during the $500 car challenge down to Hennessy, who I'm texting with now just to make sure we got everything good. That'll probably be on Thursday. And Tennessee, like, it sounds like it's close, but it's really like 4 hours away.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, Texas is like...
it's a big state, yeah.
It may as well be its own country.
Yep, I've been to all those towns, Memphis, Nashville, Little Rock, Texas. Not Dallas, but driving through Texas, Amarillo.
Amarillo, nice.
Yep. So... it's going to be $500 car challenge or truck challenge?
We'll see. We didn't buy them yet. I'm shooting for a $500 truck challenge because we're in Texas.
Yeah.
But if the right $500 car pops up, we'll be on it.
Cool. Now, who's doing the challenge with you?
So it's me, Tommy F. Yeah,
cool,
who you'll recognize from his YouTube channel. Danny Nardi, who you'll recognize from my $1,000 car challenges in San Francisco. She tried going down Lombard Street in my Pinto. Not very successful, but she looked good doing it. Mm-hmm. Then we've got Danielle, who's a bull run friend who lives in Dallas, who's hooking it up. And last but not least, and I'm not going to say it yet because she's not in, but somebody else potentially.
Cool.
So
Sweet. Now, what's your Corvette's going down there to fix the cooling issues?
yeah, just because I'm going down, I'm like, look, I can go do my own Texas 2018, and they'll be like, why'd nobody else show up? I guess I went because they're all scared of the vet. And it's just a little bit more low key, but yeah, no, I'm shipping it down. There's actually a Want to Go Fast that weekend.
Oh, okay.
I'm not staying for it, but I told one of the guys on my Patreon, I'm like, yo, if you want to use the car, I'll leave it down there. You can run it, and then I'll have the truck bring it up afterwards. So,
cool.
I don't know if it'll actually be there. Maybe Lou will take it out, but I mean, otherwise, it's just gonna head back. It's still got to go to Cook's to get the new manifold made up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll have enough time to do that at Lou's place. I know they've made them before, but it's gonna take more than like 2 days to whip up a turbo manifold and go through all the other issues.
And you're going to run when you drive it on the track. Where are you going to be running it? At Nürburgring?
Down in Texas.
Oh,
well, no. My next track thing is is up here. It's at Pocono.
Oh, okay.
Then I'll probably go to Lime Rock and then down to VIR.
Cool.
So
what do you do at Pocono and Lime Rock?
Pocono is like roll racing.
Oh, okay.
I want to beat Tommy and kick his ass. And I wanted to beat Dom as well and kick his ass, but honestly, he'd probably win if his car showed up.
Yeah.
But I think his car did about 177.5 mile, but you don't know what that looks like. If we're racing from a dig, it's very easy for me to get out and have some more torque, and he's got some more top end, so he may have a faster trap speed than me, but to beat him like head-to-head in the half mile,
yeah,
I think it would be very doable. I don't think that extra 10 miles an hour is great, but I don't know if that'll be enough to sort of make up if I do get out of, like, if you've ever seen two cars race,
yeah,
like even if one car's significantly faster, if another car gets out on you, it takes a minute to reel them in. It's not as quickly.
Yeah.
It's not as quick as like you would be led to believe by all the super videos.
Yeah.
So, and eventually there'll be a flyby if he's got enough gear. But I don't know. I think it would be interesting. I don't think that result is set in stone.
Cool.
So, and even Tommy, I think I'm gonna have a little bit more horsepower, a little less weight. He's gonna have a better hole shot.
Yeah.
But
his R32 you're talking about?
The R32.
So he got it all fixed?
No, he's got a different one. But
he's got a different one.
Yeah, different one with an R34 swap. So
wow.
It's essentially like running the badass.
Oh, wow. His other R32 was really fast because I was with him when he got in that accident, right?
Yep.
And I drove it after the accident with the door crush, and it was a fast car.
Yeah.
Right? Just imagine the new one.
Yeah. No, I believe it's fast.
Yeah.
It's almost as
I
fast
haven't driven
as my
your
vet.
so
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't know how fast your Corvette is. One time when it's running right,
We'll figure it out. Look, it runs fine. It was the only thing that we're trying to get to the bottom of is any heating issues, which, to be fair, like there's a giant turbo that's sort of uncovered in the engine bay. That doesn't help things.
Right.
So if you don't have the airflow taking that heat out of the engine bay, I don't even have heat wrap on the manifolds. I think we can start there. I've got a turbo blanket from Thermal Zero I'm going to put on. And cheap turbo blankets aren't very good. And I was actually going to do a video on that, and I forgot to mention that. Like, to have a cheap, like, a part that's designed is to, like, capture heat shouldn't catch fire by default. Like, the guy at Pocono, or not at Pocono, at Daytona, his turbo blanket caught fire on his second lap.
Wow.
Like, that's like why you don't buy eBay turbo blankets.
Yeah.
Why don't? This is just a reminder. That's why you don't buy eBay turbo blankets, because like it's something that you feel, I feel pretty good about it, but like the temperature range isn't up. That's why I got Thermal Zero, and actually Thermal Zero is a company that makes quality turbo blankets, and they actually sent one to the dude with the BRZ in Atlanta
cool.
Lent Tommy his car after his car caught fire because of his turbo blanket. They sent me one for my vet, and then they sent one down to him. I was like, can you send him one? That was really cool for him to come down and let us rip on his car.
That's cool. Now you had overheating issues where it was Sebring, right? In your video, it looked
Sebring,
like Sebring.
it's anytime I'm like, I've got Justin hot lapping the car, it seems to have overheating issues. My temperatures didn't get up too high, but higher than I felt comfortable with. Like, I think that car should be no higher than 200, 210 after a couple of laps, and it gets up to like 210 on the second lap, and it hangs between 210 and 225. But that's just too hot, especially when like 240 is like computer protection on that car.
Right.
It's just definitely too hot to have that. I've got to get more airflow going through there. I've got to get the cooling down. So even if it needs a 4 radiators, like I don't really care.
Well, you have an aluminum radiator.
I do, yeah.
Because when I had my vet, I used to track
the
it all the time.
radiator is that
I don't
the
know,
tomato?
Jimbo, is it radiator or radiator? Radiator.
Yeah, but he also calls Maryland.
Yeah, he
Maryland.
doesn't live in New Jersey.
I live in Maryland.
Maryland.
That's why.
In Jersey, we call it what do we call it? Radiator.
You say Maryland.
Maryland.
It's Maryland.
Maryland.
Maryland is 2 syllables.
Maryland is a magician. Maryland is a place where you live.
Maryland is not.
I didn't call it Maryland, did I?
Yeah, but you're adding that many syllables though. You're going Maryland instead of Maryland. It's 2 syllables.
And how do you pronounce it?
Maryland.
Maryland.
Just two syllables.
Maryland the magician.
Yeah, Maryland the magician. That's where I live.
Who wears a black cowboy hat?
Sir. Howdy. Yeah, good one. Way to kill the conversation. Switch over to the cowboy hat. I got nowhere to go with the.
Now.
I got nowhere to go with the cowboy hat. I mean, like.
Well, let's talk about Jim's mohawk. His hair's growing back.
So Jim, the sides are starting to come in. I think he's going to keep it. You're going to keep that for a minute,
yeah,
at least for the summer.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Well,
I dig the look. There's no camera on me right now, but I mean, it looks the same as it did, just not spiked.
Yeah. So Jimbo's got a
soldier right now.
Yeah, Jimbo's got a mohawk. I mean, not quite Roman soldier.
Well, I mean, in terms of the fuzziness, if I don't spike it up, not like stand tall, red hair kind of deal.
Yeah, so Jimbo, on one of my Friday night live streams on my Super Speeders Rob YouTube channel, a guy offered Jimbo $250 to get a mohawk, and I'm going to take credit for the idea. I put it out there because everybody's got a price. Even Glenn's got a price. What do you say? It was $10,000?
No, I originally said $10 million, and I knocked it down to $1 million.
Yeah, Glenn will shave his hair for $1 million. So all of you guys that are dying to see Glenn. See, but that's bullshit. You can't make up a number and then be like, look, here's $100,000 sitting on the table. Go get your head shaved. You would be there. Like, I would not see a car drive faster in my life. So you can't say your number is really $1 million. You can't say it's $10 million. There is a real number, and it gets real when somebody sticks the cash in front of you. And Jimbo, that number was $250, and boom, he went in. We shaved it, and he's like, I like this. Yeah. And now he's got a haircut for the summer.
Well, he should let it grow back and then get another $250 and get it done again.
So I think Jimbo put one over on me because I gave him the money for that. And then somebody was mentioning that YouTube takes a 20% cut.
I didn't know that.
Do they really?
On the
on your live stream?
On the donation things.
No, I did not know that.
And I was like, I thought they would just take like processing fees, like, because that's like a donation. That's not ad revenue. They're not selling it. Ad revenue, I understand. Like, look, we're bringing the sponsors, we're selling them. We got to pay our ad sales people, and we got to make some money. The super chat is just somebody, like, it's just one-on-one. It's somebody just paying.
Do they really take?
I don't know. I've never looked.
20%.
That's got to be bullshit.
But no, because they take like 45 on the ad rev. So
do they really?
It's 50-50 if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's 45. I think just so you feel like you're winning a little bit, I think it's like 55,
I don't
45.
know. When I signed, maybe it was different back when you applied, but when you click the sign ad revenue thing or whatever it is when you first make a new channel, it's like 50-50 now.
Okay.
So maybe you're on 45. You get lucky.
Yeah, I would get 65.
Oh, no, 65. They get 45. Yeah, so you're getting lucky.
It's actually 65-35. That 65-45 is 110.
It shows how good my math is.
It's a lot of money.
Learn math on the podcast.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, my grandmother's 50% Irish, 25% Italian, 35% this. That's more than 100%. Yeah, she was a big woman. So, yeah. So, you may have won one there, and I was like, shit, I just spent $50 for Jimbo to get a mohawk unintentionally. That's why you always got to let everything settle out. So we always wait till the check clears before you pay out the commissions. I learned that in like business. in renting cars. People would always be like, all right, I booked your customer. Can you give me a commission? I'm like, yeah, after the rental happens.
The rental, yeah.
I'm not giving you the commission now. That's like you say, me bringing you a deal in a building and be like, all right, give me my 50 grand now. And then the deal falls through and you're out 50 grand. So you always wait till the cash settles in your account.
Yep.
Rule number one.
I had no idea. If there actually is a cut, that's bullshit. I didn't hear about that.
I would be sort of disappointed. That would mean when somebody gives me $1, it's only 80 cents. Yeah. And if somebody gives me a Canadian dollar, it's even less. That's really a kicker.
I think that's dishonest. I don't know if YouTube would do that.
I mean,
they're pretty bad. They've got some dumb shit going on, but I don't know about
Why don't you look it up?
I can look it up.
Jimbo's going to look it up.
Sure.
There we go.
So, but yeah, so Jimbo's got a mohawk right now, and that's how that happened. So Glenn just got a job. I think that's
start
important
tomorrow.
To
Person.
Nice,
So
which is a risk that makes people nervous.
Exactly, it does.
It's like I get one check every 6 months, but it's for $100 grand. Like it's like it's worth it.
That'd be okay.
Yeah, but I mean that's the whole thing.
Right.
It's a lot.
It's
of
like
people,
being your own boss. So a lot of people say open your own business, but as you would know, right, there's a lot of expenses owning your own business. So the good news is I don't have any of those expenses, but, it's commission, so you get paid when you close a deal. So if anybody's looking to buy or sell or lease space, let me know. But we'll see. So it'll be a new adventure. I mean, I have a ton of experience, and now I'm on the tenant side. So
nice. If
I ever wanted to have my own company, this is kind of a way to do it with the least risk. If it doesn't work out, I can always go back to a salary job.
If you see a building, I'd buy a building.
Okay.
So if you had a building that was like sort of good position and zoned automotive, I guess we could probably not have this discussion on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk offline.
But ultimately, we can make something happen.
Text me your specs, and I'll try to find something for you.
I'll tell you after we stop the podcast. Because I'm not in a rush to do it, but you can just keep an eye out.
Sure.
And sometime in the next year, I've even talked to other people about like sharing the space in sort of like this big automotive spot.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And I think we can make something happen.
Cool. We'll need a new podcast studio once this house is under construction.
This house is going down.
Yeah, so is there how about a house update for everybody?
I'm yelling timber.
Yeah.
No. I came in like a wrecking ball.
We're gonna have to podcast from a new place when the wrecking ball comes here.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know if I'm gonna wreck it. I think I'm gonna because I mean it is a renovation, so we can't
keep the foundation, right?
Well, we're keeping the foundation. I may even keep both of these walls because anything that I don't have to take down, I'm not gonna take down. You know how much material costs?
Yeah.
Like if they're gonna charge me $30,000 for a wall, this wall's fine.
Right. It's demo, just from being in real estate. Demo is cheap. It's
it's
construction
putting it back up. Money. But I mean, they're going to gut the walls anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, I am okay saving money where there is money to be saved. It's always like if my result is the same, I'm not going to spend money just to prove I have it.
Right.
So. And people don't think about this with a mortgage. Like, oh, it's only another, like, oh, get the pool. It's only another 50 grand. Well, yeah, you're borrowing 50 grand. You know what? Borrowing 50 grand, you're paying 150 for that pool. So everything that you think you're like, oh, it's only another this.
Yep.
You're committing to a hell of a lot more than that. It's 50 grand if you pay in cash.
Right.
It's a minimum, even if you pay your mortgage off early, it's $90,000 or $100,000.
Yep. A 30-year mortgage, if you don't pay it off early, is usually like 3 times.
3x.
Yep.
And a $500,000 is like 1.4. Yep.
Right. 15-year mortgage would be 1.5.
Yep.
So same thing like 144-month financing on your Lamborghini. You're going to pay a lot more than the $250,000.
Well, there's a thing that you make one extra mortgage payment a year, and that would reduce your loan by 8 years. Mm-hmm. So on a 30-year mortgage. So you're just supposed to divide your payment in half and pay every 2 weeks.
Right. Yep.
So that's the trick. And if you pay your mortgage every 2 weeks, to you it's the same.
Right. So
but ultimately, because there's months that are 30 days and not there, every 2 weeks is every 14 days. There's 30 days in a month.
Right.
You'll eventually be ahead by one full mortgage payment a year because there's 52 weeks in a year.
So you'd be 13 months you've paid instead of 12.
So you
depends how you get paid though too. I mean, if you're paying it,
no, but it
doesn't
matter how you get paid. It's
right.
just if you can afford to do that, you are making one extra mortgage payment a year, and one extra mortgage payment a year, starting at the first payment, saves
a ton on the back.
It saves 8 years off the mortgage. So I've been paying an extra $500 off every month on my mortgage, which is, I mean, my mortgage is like on this place, I don't know, $2,300. I'm paying probably I don't know what I'm paying. I think I'm paying $3,700 for this place, but that's with taxes. It's 32. So I probably have to pay 27. I'm paying 32 plus the taxes.
Okay, so you're paying an extra $500 a month.
That's the whole thing. I take the mortgage payment, add $500 every month. So right there, I'm paying an extra $6,000 a year. So at least an extra 2 payments a year.
Right.
I don't know how much that's going to do, but right now, I feel like it's if it takes 12 years off the loan, maybe it treats it as a 15-year loan at that point in time. The thing I learned with mortgages is get the lowest rate. Don't get the longest loan. Don't get the shortest loan. And usually the lowest rate for a payment you can afford is what you want to do. Now, if the lowest rate, which usually the lowest rate is for
15 year.
For 10 or 15 years. For some reason, I don't think I was approved for 15 years. It's funny, like I sent in even like I don't remember the company, but I applied and they were like fans, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, are you Rob Ferretti from Super Speeders? Like, yeah. So and then like they said, because it's tough being when you own a company, it's tough having your finances look to a bank the way you owe.
Right, because you have deductions.
Well, no. The 1 year I made lots of money. In the previous year, I started the business and other stuff, so I lost money that year. So, like, they're like, well, when you average the two out,
right.
And I'm like, well, yes, I lost money here, but it was a one-time expense for starting this company.
Right.
It's when we started Adventure Drives. I'm like, you can't say, like, you have to look sort of as a whole, because now I have a company and that company now generates money, and you can't just say like you're gonna, well, when we average the two out, this is what we have to do. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. That's like it makes no sense. If somebody was unemployed for a year and then they're employed making $50,000 a month, you can't be like, well, you're only making $25,000 a month because you were unemployed for a year.
Right, like me being unemployed for 6 months, and it may take a while to get some.
Yeah, but now that you have but even if you have, like, you go from unemployed to having a job, they can't now say, okay, you've got great credit and you've got steady income, but the last year's tax returns showed nothing, so we can't approve it. And it was sort of that stupid. So I just had to take the loan I could get to. Yeah,
you could always pay it off early. You could pay it off.
And that's what I'm doing. And I'm at like 4.2% or something like that, which isn't terrible. But I can always refinance it when there's another great depression and the interest rates go down.
And when 2%. You refi, take term off. A lot of people, because I used to do mortgages as part of my real estate years ago, take term off. So instead of refining to save $300 a month, take an extra 5 years off your mortgage. You're going to save a lot more money than that $300 a month, because you'll adjust to it. You'll save $300 a month, but you're going to spend it somewhere else,
absolutely.
right? So
I leave it all in there.
Yeah,
and I want to pay the thing off in 5 to 10 years. I don't want to. I rather own the house and then just have the cost of the taxes as my overhead, and then I can set for retirement from there. I think that would be easy.
Right.
Instead of everyone else counting on the house going up in value and all that nonsense.
Yep.
We have an update, by the way.
What's the update?
In terms of the super chat thing. YouTube actually takes 30%.
30%.
Yeah.
Jimbo. So you paid how much for Jimbo? You paid $60.
$75 is what I paid for.
Oh wow.
Well, that's a pretty big kick in the.
And
Jimmy.
it gets worse.
What?
Because if you have an MCN, which you do, they take a cut as well.
No, my MCN doesn't take a cut.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Because that's what I just read on Google.
Yeah, but that's for MCNs. I have a contract with my MCN that they don't touch my money.
Okay, well, cool. So YouTube is taking 30% of your super chat.
That's a lot.
That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah,
if you ask me.
Yeah, I take sort
because
of
because the donators don't know that. Well,
yeah.
I mean,
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, but like that's pretty messed
the host
up. They're like,
didn't know
that. I'm giving $250 to this creator. Actually, I'm only giving them. What's 30% of 250?
75.
75. Thank you.
No, it's 75 that I did not get.
Yeah, so that's a little.
And
bit,
you pay tax on what you did get.
Yeah,
so
175. It's really that 250.
So
really
really, you
becomes
ended up
like
28% went to
$20.
Uncle Sam out of that. Yeah, so you paid like you basically paid for Jimbo's haircut.
Yeah, and that's
appreciate the haircut though. I do like it,
Jimbo.
It's a one-time deal. He's not paying for it again.
You know, some other things with just because of the mortgage people, I like to hold people accountable. My mortgage company, I gave them one of them did, and it was a big mortgage company, and I was like, "Here's retirement account, got lots of money in it. Like, we can't count that. Why not? Because it's not cash. Like, the account can go up and down." I'm like, "So do you need me to move it all to cash, and then you can count it towards an asset?" Yeah. I'm not going to do that. Like, it's right here. Here's what it's been every month. It's a Roth IRA.
Mm-hmm.
We're not touching it. Like this is it's accessible as emergency funds,
Right.
At a steep penalty.
Yeah.
But like it's there. That's an asset. You
Mm-hmm.
can't say it's not an asset, or you have to say, since when does a trading account have to be cash? You could look at the average value and be like, all right, it looks to be a little high right now, so we'll just say that it's $100,000.
Right.
It's at 120 now, but it's usually up and down, but it floats around 100. We'll consider it as $100,000 in assets.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's just like you sort of shake your head, and it's like, all right, and that's like saying, okay, you got all these cars, but they don't really count because they're not cash. And I'm like, well, what? At what point? Like, if all you want is cash, and if I had all this cash I was staring at, I wouldn't be talking to you.
Right.
Like I wouldn't be. So
part of my youthful ignorance, but the Roth IRA, that's like mutual funds and whatnot, right?
it's a form of retirement account that is tax deferred.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, you told me. I was just making sure. Yeah.
Right. It could be mutual funds.
I mean, I have most of it.
Yeah, in a disaster situation where you need to pay your mortgage, you would take money out of that Roth IRA.
But no, they could put a lien on it. Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, if it's there and I default on my loan, they could put a lien on my retirement account. I've got no problem with that. Knock yourself out. Like, that retirement account is just going to be a Koenigsegg one day because, like, if I need that retirement account, I have screwed up my life so bad that I'm like, well, luckily we got that retirement account to fall back on. No, that's not in the cards. That retirement account is purely because it's tax deferred and it exists. And I think you can do like up to 20 or 25% of your income every year. You can put into a tax deferred Roth IRA. So
is there a limit? I
think it was 48,500 was the limit.
Okay, because I think a 401k it's like 18,000.
Yeah, it's less. The Roth IRA, I think I was able to. I think people are able to do up to 48,500. I don't think that's changed.
Oh, per year?
Per year.
Oh wow.
So,
cool. So, what cash value do they give you for the creeper van? The mortgage company.
I was actually no, I have the creeper van.
We gotta do something with that.
We're gonna do something.
I think most of the cars are here. I'm pretty sure.
No,
they look like a parking lot when I come.
Yeah, Jimbo's got some cars here. We gotta get rid of those.
I don't know that they're all Jimbos. I don't know if they're all Jimbos.
The one I actually drive. That's my daily.
That's my daily. That's my daily.
It's my daily. Or how do you say dally?
No, I mean I'm north of the Mason-Dixon line, so I say that's one of my vehicles.
Okay, well, that's my daily, the silver one, and then I have another one that I got to move. So I have one car here. You have one.
You have 1.5 cars here.
1.5. What do you mean
I've got 6 cars here.
Why do you have 6?
7, including the one I pulled up in.
1, 2, 3.
I've got the Miata, the Cadillac, the Mercedes.
The one you pulled up with makes 6.
The 2 Mercedes,
and the
NSX,
and the BMWs here, right?
And then the Range Rover I just drove and the BMWs here. But that's just like a dead end. Like my wife comes and picks me up, and this car's here, and then I'm like, now we have one car.
I know, but in terms of cars sitting here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the moment.
Yeah.
And I've got 2 technically.
It's my house.
Yeah. I'm just saying you tell me I have 2 cars and implying that 2 of them need to be moved. It's not exactly true. One of them does.
One of them has. Yeah, the one that's just dead weight.
One needs to be moved and one doesn't move, right?
Well, one he drives and the other one is...
Just it needs to be jumped, and I need to get another battery for it, and that's been a predicament in itself. I'm just going to try and jump it so I think it just needs a good charge.
I think somebody should buy it. Did you not put it up for sale yet?
I wanted to make sure I had all the same wheels around all 4 before I do that. It's been on the list of shit to do. What does it matter? What does it matter? I want to get the best amount of money I can for it. I don't want someone to say, I'll give you $100.
Yeah.
Because I paid more than $100 for that car, unfortunately.
I'm looking. Oh, cool.
But once it's got all 4 wheels, which I have all 4, they just need to be put on, need to be inflated. I'm going to give it a bath. I need to jump the battery. I'm just going to let it run for like 25 minutes because I'm pretty sure that battery, even though it's not the cold crank amp number that it's supposed to be, it does run. No issue. Starts, drives, shifts fine. It needs power steering flush. But, I mean, it's if someone was willing to put I'd say about $300 into it, it would be worth $3,000. But I don't have time to do that. So if someone can buy it from me,
I'll give you $300 and you sell it for $3,000 and we'll call it a day. How's that?
That makes 0.0 sense, Rob.
Just saying.
Now you're talking about the Corvette or the Mercedes?
Talking about the Mercedes.
No. The C5 is going.
C5's up for sale, right?
C5's up for sale. It's getting a little bit of maintenance done to it. Once it's done, it'll be running 100%. But I'm going to sell that. I'd like to get. With everything done to it, I'd like to get 14.5 for it. I think that's an appropriate number.
That's 14.5, and you paid.
I paid
matter.
15.5
Well,
for it.
you didn't have to say that.
Well, now it's on the air.
What year is it? It's a C5?
It's a 2004 C5 coupe, black on black car. It's got black accent tints all over it.
So it's the last
cam,
year. 04 is
intake.
the last year.
Yes,
of the C5.
yes. It makes 460 wheel at the moment. So it's healthy. It sounds great. It's way, way too loud. Completely straight piped. It's got 2-step on it. It shoots fire. It's a lot of fun. Stage 2 clutch, aluminum flywheel. I know it doesn't need 2-step.
It doesn't need 2-step, but it's also what Felix was doing the other day outside the shop. He was like just revving the car up and making it pop. He had an a GTR.
What was that? Was for tuning though.
Yeah, no, it was because the guy wants it to shoot flames. You know, the guys in the parking lot, they rev it up and it shoots flames out the back.
Yeah, okay.
That's what he was doing. He was making it so it shoots flames. It's like somebody has to program that into the car so it dumps fuel and the fuel shoots flames out the back. And I'm like, all right, that's retarded.
Yeah. Well, we're at our mark.
What's the mark?
30-minute mark.
30-minute mark. That means it is time for a quick commercial break, and we can use the potty, and I can tell you about some cool stuff. So there's things I do every day. One of those things is putting underwear on. Now, Sheath Underwear helps cover my ass, especially in these podcasts, by sponsoring us. And now they can take care of your ass too. Now, Sheath Underwear is a premium underwear. It's not your dad's tidy whities. It's not your old pair of boxers that you got in high school that you should have thrown away 5 years ago that you still wear. It's good premium underwear. Their thing is that you can put your balls and your shaft into a little pouch in the front. Makes you look huge. Huger. I mean, it's all you, but it looks good. But it also keeps your balls from rubbing against your legs or sweating. And that skin to skin, it's not a good thing. You don't really want it. And it's a good, comfortable underwear. It looks good. It feels good. And it's functional, and it makes your sack not sweat. So that's something to check out. You can check out their website, sheathunderwear.com. You can enter promo code SPEED. That'll save you 25% off your first order. And I promise, once you get Sheath Underwear, you're going to be ordering more and more pairs. So I'd probably get at least 3 to start, because you're not going to want to wear the same pair every 7 days or wash them every other day. It gets a little awkward with underwear. So, man, it's not a pair of jeans. You can't just get away with wearing the same pair of jeans 4 days in a row. Underwear, you can't do that, no matter how much you like them. So check out sheathunderwear.com, and you can use the promo code SPEED and save yourself 25%. I guarantee once you start wearing them, you're not going to wear anything else. I don't. So there's things you never want to do in the car world. You never want to not buy a car because you're afraid of the maintenance costs, and you also don't want to be fearful when you buy a car of driving it because you don't want to break it. Two of those things, it ruins the ownership experience. So how do you fix that? Well, there's a company called eAuto Warranty, and eAuto Warranty will sell you a warranty. You pay monthly just like you would for your car insurance, and it relieves the stress and anxiety of having a big maintenance repair. And that's something, I mean, they cover the smaller stuff too, but obviously that doesn't keep you up at night. The stuff that you're concerned about is a pilot bearing failure or something that everyone talks about as a possibility. And you're like, ooh, I don't want to have to pay for a transmission rebuild on that. Well, eAuto Warranty will cover it. So check it out. You can go to eAutowarranty.com. You can enter your car in. You can get a free online quote, or you can enter a car you're interested in, or like, oh, you know, one of those Maseratis I've always liked. See what it would cost. It may make sense to you. It may not. But it will allow you, if you do go ahead with it, to sleep easy at night. I'm telling you, the proof is in the pudding here. I had a warranty that I was paying for 4 months, and they covered that means they made $300 off me, and they paid for a $2,400 repair. So it's good. It's nice to have. It's good to have in your back pocket if you ever need it. You don't have to renew it after the first year. You can just do it on a yearly basis. But I'm telling you, once you have it, you're going to love it. And especially when you get your money's worth out of that repair, you're going to be happy you made that choice. So check them out, eAutowarranty.com. You can get a free quote for your vehicle or one that you're interested in purchasing. All right, and we're back. Thank you for that bathroom break. Now I realized I have multiple refrigerators in this house, but none of them are plugged in. So I was not able to chill a beverage to my liking, and therefore I am not drinking a beverage. I was also talking to my friend Danielle, who will be on the $500 car challenge in Texas, and I sent her a picture of me because I forgot to put my hat in the truck, and she told me, and I quote, Holy fuck. Please tell me that's not for Dallas. No one in Dallas wears hats like that. So, of course, it's not for Dallas. I said, what? Bought it in Montana. Was going to Texas the shit out of it. Does that mean I shouldn't bring my assless chaps as well? I assume the answer to that will also be yes. But, yeah, so this is just a Montana hat for me now. That means I'm going to have to buy a place in Montana. Otherwise, I bought a hat that I only wore once, and I'm not having that. So I think I could pull this off in, like, Wyoming, Montana, maybe Colorado, and
Maryland,
and Idaho.
Maryland?
Not Maryland, but pretty much everywhere else will be all right with it. So, but I mean, I don't even know if I can pull this off. You think this is a Nashville hat?
Maybe.
Or do they wear the same hats? I didn't know it was a thing. I thought it was just a cowboy hat.
I think it's a podcast hat. That's what.
No,
I
it's not a podcast hat. It's actually gets a little hot inside here.
You should wear it for every podcast. I think
it's a double S hat collection look at the freaking thing inside. It says Amarillo. Amarillo's in Texas.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know.
They wear cowboy hats in Amarillo. I've been there.
You know what? Maybe she's just in the wrong part of Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go find my people there, and I'm still not. I just don't want to buy another hat. Sort of like this hat. No.
You can rock it, Rob.
I'll rock it. I'll bring it with me.
Wear it in Dallas. Tell them you're
I'll wear it. Yeah, I'll wear it.
Amarillo.
And be like,
Tell
what
them
the hell is that guy wearing a hat for?
I'm from Amarillo. That's why I'm wearing it.
So, or I can get the Turd Ferguson hat. Nope. Turd Ferguson. Celebrity Jeopardy. SNL.
Crickets.
Sorry.
Or a really big hat. Funny hat. It's a funny hat. No? Okay, cool. Fun times, Jimbo. So, Glenn, what do you got to talk about?
Let's talk about, we touched on this probably 4 or 5 months ago on a podcast about John Cena and the Ford GT. So the rumor is that he sold his Ford GT to Tom Cruise. That's the rumor.
How did you know? Did you tell him to say this?
No. You and I talked about it off the air one time.
When? No, but there was a recent development that I'm aware of that you're not aware of because I didn't tell you about it.
Oh, okay.
I may have told him, but you did. Did you? No.
No,
okay.
we didn't talk.
So he didn't sell it to Tom Cruise.
Okay.
That's nonsense. The car sold for $1.25 million.
Okay.
And it sold to somebody who tried to get it, who has a bunch of Fords and applied for it and didn't get it, and he should have gotten it. I remember this guy.
Was his name Rob Fred?
He was not, and I guess I'm not blowing up his spot because nobody knows him, but he's a farmer. And he was he's a guy who has 100 Ford trucks and whatnot, and he had the old Ford GT, and he put in an application. And he didn't get picked, but John Cena did, and ultimately he sold the car for. I mean, that's almost 3x.
Yeah, I think
talking
460 was the sticker on his car.
Now, what's funny is, and you know, I won't go down that road, but just say, no matter how much money you have. Montana's a cool place to live. Let's just say that.
Well, but the interesting part of it and where I was going with it is, I guess, Ford was suing him for selling it.
Ford is suing him. Ford is also suing a dealer that displayed it that didn't repossess it for them after the sale. And
the dealer he bought it from?
No, it's a completely different dealer, a third-party dealer. The car was sold out of Florida. But there was a different dealer that had it on display, and when Ford found out it was on display, they're now roping that dealer into a lawsuit for not securing the car for them. And I'm like, you can't just go repossess the car. The guy bought it, he owns it,
right?
And honestly, you have to look at it once the property is sold. If you didn't want somebody to sell the car, you don't sell them the car. You lease them the car. It's as simple as that. And I think Ferrari did that with the F50s. They did leases, but ultimately, it's you can't really control when you sell something what the next person does with it. Once you transfer ownership, you cannot sell them anything again. But you can't hey Glenn, I'm going to sell you my house at a loss because you gave me a nice story. You want to live there, and then you can't. Turn around, fix it, sell it for more. I can't be yo, you can't do that,
right? Or you say you sell me this house and say you can't tear it down because. We did our podcast.
Whatever.
Here. I have great memories, and I bought it and I tore it down to build another house. You can't tell me.
Or
it's my house
you
now.
can't, but I can't say I'll sell it to you cheap, and then you turn around and sell it for more, and me say you can't do that. I mean that's the direct parallel.
Right.
The answer is once you sell something, it's no longer yours.
Well, supposedly they were making people sign a document that they want to sell for 2 years. But John Cena,
but again, that document that I'm not going to sell something.
Right.
If you don't want me to sell something, don't sell it to me. You loan it to me or you lease it to me, and then after 2 years you sell it to me. But ultimately, if you sell somebody something, no matter what you sign, like, yeah, I'm not going to sell it, but it's mine. What if I'm having financial trouble? What if I'm doing this? What if I'm doing that? Like, again, I didn't read the document. I'm sure it's all there in the court documents. But ultimately, Tom Cruise did not buy the car. It was a guy that you don't know who's a farmer who has the car, and I'm sure he's very happy with it. But I'm sure he's not happy getting roped into a lawsuit that he had nothing to do with.
Right. And what's going on with John Cena, though, is I guess the papers he produced, Ford never made him sign anything.
No, his thing was that my final purchase document was just a standard purchase document through a dealership, and there's no verbiage in my sale contract through the dealership saying that I can't sell it. And that is the document that transfers ownership, not anything else that they had me sign. And there was no reference to that supplemental contract or anything like that. So Ford is looking at the purchase as a whole. This is the purchase documentation. It's this form, this form, this form, and this form. And John Cena's lawyer is just saying, like, well, this is the purchase document. That's nonsense. This is the purchase document. This one purchase document, and it's going to come up to the court to say, does a manufacturer have a right? And it goes into like the right to repair stuff that they're fighting over too. Does somebody who sells you something have the right to tell you what you can and can't do with it? You have the right to not sell them anything again. Right. But you don't really have the right to tell them what they can and can't do with it. You can say, we don't want you to do this. And it just shows that their selection process, because it's not the only Ford GT to have been sold, it just shows that their selection process is really shit. And it's not as oh, yeah, we want to get the enthusiasts and this and that. They didn't really care about the enthusiasts. There's a lot of guys that I know that should have gotten cars, that deserved cars.
You should have gotten
I technically should have gotten a car. But even in my application, I didn't kiss their ass. And I'm like, look, if I have to give you in 250 words or less why you should sell me something that's $500,000, like, I'm not going to do that. I don't beg for me to spend $500,000 on a car. That's not what it is. Like, I've got no problem saying I would like the car and I feel like I'm qualified for it, but I'm not going to kiss your ass to do it. Like, I've gone through my life without kissing ass. I'm not going to start now to try to buy a car, especially when I think it's overpriced. So, I mean, Matt Farah did a review on the car, and he apparently likes it. He liked driving it.
Yeah.
Again, this is one rip through the canyons.
Yeah,
that could be where
video.
It shines.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know, like, actual ownership. Having a car for 7 hours, I'm impressed by virtually anything. But
especially on those kind of roads, the roads that he
in those
on.
Conditions on those roads, and it just in a car that everybody's got a hard on for. It's one of those things that it's tough to say, like, you didn't live with it for a month, you didn't drive it down the roads, you're not bumping along in traffic and saying this thing rides too hard, or like there's the door. Like, there was a lot of stuff on the old Ford GT. The seats weren't comfortable after a while, and that's stuff that I learned. The fuel range when you're on it wasn't that great. It was like 250 miles to the tank. The things on the stereo sucked, even with the Macintosh upgrade. There was no cup holders or anything like that. The door panels would fall off. I mean, the fit and finish was just like, okay. It's still a great car. I love it, but it's not $500,000. And I saw the one that was at the auto show this year, and I saw it in the carbon fiber weave. I'm like, this is not $500,000 hypercar carbon fiber. This is like, you hired a guy and said, can you work with carbon fiber? And he made it look okay, but it's definitely like, you go and look at a proper hypercar, Ferrari or Lamborghini or any of these manufacturers have been working with carbon and exposed carbon for quite some time and making it look really nice. They didn't do that. I mean, even Range Rover made it look nice on their Range Rover Sport, and you didn't have that on this car. So it's just like, look, would I like to drive one? Yeah, hell yeah. I'd like to see what it can do. Would I like somebody that actually, like, Brooks at Drag Times, to get out there and show how it performs compared to the other cars? Sure. But like, I'm sure it can lap a racetrack really well. I mean, there's a lot of cars that lap racetracks really well, but they're not really fun to drive. I mean, there is a balance between a race car and a street car, and the ones that really nail it and are fun to drive and they sound good and they hit all the right marks don't have to be the fastest. Like, you don't have to sacrifice certain things for other things that people don't care about. You have to give people things that make them feel awesome when they're driving it, that sound good, they hit the marks, that have a manual gearbox depending on the car. And that goes a lot further than what they did with the NSX, which is make it essentially a car that performs really well, but it doesn't really check any of those other boxes.
Yeah, I love the old Ford GT, the '05, the '06. My friend has an '06, and I did a video review of that. My YouTube channel was great. 6-speed manual.
What YouTube channel is that?
Glenn's Car Collection.
Glenn's Car Collection. So check
Now,
out Glenn's Car Collection.
There you go. Jimbo will put a link in the description, right?
I'll put it on the screen.
Yeah. But, yeah, so I always loved those '05s and '06s. Now, you had one for Gotham, right? The red one, right? You had
We
a
did. It was
and white
red with white stripes. We bought it new for $10,000 off list price because they
Wow.
weren't selling, and they was sitting there forever because nobody was buying $150,000.
And what was listed to that car? It had
$165.
It had all 4 options.
Yeah,
Okay.
$165.
So you got it for what?
$155.
Wow, that's great, right?
And when it got crashed, we were jumping up and down that we got $1.25 for it.
Because you thought
From the
that was
insurance
good?
company totaled it out, and we took 125 with like 12,000 miles,
Wow.
and we were thrilled.
But that was market value then.
No, it was like market value was probably 105.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and we were like thrilled to get that.
So what do you think made the is it just because the 6 shift's going away, or people didn't appreciate right away because it was a Ford? I mean, what do you think made it go from 105 to 300,000?
Because it was a fun car, it was a good car,
Mhm.
and when people got beyond, when it got more market recognition, and people started seeing, and what really caught people's eyes were, videos like my Ford GT running from police, where it makes that awesome noise, and like that downshift is like heavenly. And you put the racing exhaust on it, it sounds really loud, it looks outrageous, it's cool. And then it wasn't, I don't think it was like the IMSA racing or anything like that, but it was just the fact that people were wrecking them out. It was getting a reputation, and it was just more brand awareness as time went on, that it was a cool, and it was not your buddy's Mustang GT, that it was a Ford GT, and it had a value. And as they started crashing, and people were like, oh, that's a real driver's car. Rich people love to buy stuff that makes them think they're like purists, like the 993 turbos or the 993. Like, yeah, I really need an air-cooled Porsche.
993 turbo.
I'm an enthusiast, and it's like, you're not an enthusiast. You're a freaking jerk off that's spending more money to park a car so you can tell people you're an enthusiast. And
Hey, my 993 turbo has 79,000 miles on it.
no, I get it, but like, there's a lot of guys that buy cars because that's what enthusiasts want.
yeah,
The
sure.
GT3 RSs, the GT2 RSs.
Sure.
Like, I don't want a GT2 RS. I'll probably kill myself in that thing. Give me traction control and all-wheel drive if I'm going to have a 900 horsepower Porsche.
Well, a lot of people buy cars, maybe not enthusiasts or us, for bragging rights. They want to be the first one on the block to have one, or
You look like Spock. I'm just saying. Looking at with the hair and looking at on the screen there, you look like Spock. You can't unsee that now.
There you go.
Yeah, but ultimately,
Well, what do you think the future values are going to go? I think
for which cars?
Well, let's just keep talking about the Ford GT. So I think it's come down a little bit.
Part of it was that car was always undervalued. That car, I
Yeah.
said when we bought it that car was a $200,000 car, and just because of the look, the feel, the drive, the everything about it was a $200,000 car, not $150,000. That's why I was buying it, because I was like, this is a great car for a great price.
Right.
Now, part of what ramps up prices is that people buy them and they see the price going up, so everyone just keeps buying. That's just
speculators get
that's
involved.
that's the way of the world with every commodity or every anything, where people sop them up. They think they're going to be more valuable. They think they're now sitting on something that's gold, and then they turn around to sell it, and then too many people have them that don't want them. They want to sell them, and then the value starts going down. They normalize after a while. The Ford GTs, I think, belong in that $225,000 to $275,000 range. I think a $250,000 Ford GT, something with miles, it's a driver, blah, 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 blah. $200,000, something with an accident, $175,000, I think you'll be okay. And that's something that I've said it forever. I saw that when they were going up to the $400,000 range. I'm like, these cars aren't worth $400,000. Then sure enough, most of them now settle out in the 200s.
Yeah, they cooled down. They were going 300 to 400.
Yeah, but now you're
like
talking
250, 275.
Yeah, 250, 275 with 3,000 miles. I mean, these are new cars. They're still selling 100,000 over what they initially cost, but it's significantly less. A lot of people lost a lot of money buying those for 350, 375, and then just selling them.
There was a car that went through Mecum, I think today or yesterday. It was a red and white like yours.
Yep.
2 miles, 2.5 miles. And it got up to 330 or 350 and was unsold.
Yeah.
So that's probably the lowest.
Well, it's because people want They think
Yeah.
they're sitting on, but the guy bought it. Guy may have paid $450 for it.
Yeah, who knows what he paid for it?
And now he's like, I got my money back now. $330 or $320, $330 at an auction.
Yeah.
You're giving 5 or 7% back. The buyer's paying 5 or 7%. So somebody's paying $350. The other guy's getting $290.
Yeah.
It's the numbers aren't there.
And the shame is that car will probably never be driven. If you buy a car with 2.5 miles
Yeah.
on it, it'll just go from collector to collector.
Yeah, but you know what? Some cars need to do that, but I feel like they could just make the manufacturer should hold those cars and everything else should be driven. Otherwise, you're like, I'm inheriting your burden. I'm gonna have to maintain a car that doesn't get driven. Like, there's so many better ways to make money. Like overall in the car world, if you buy 100 cars you think are gonna be worth money, and put however much money into them, 3 of them might outperform that same cash going into other investments.
Sure.
Like, cars are not good investments. I mean, it's nice to be able to, like what I do. I get to buy a car, I drive it as much as I want, and then I sell it after I'm done driving it. And this is with the older cars, it sort of like levels out. And it's just one of those things. Now, I know a couple of people out there be like, well, 488 only got 650 miles on it, blah, 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 blah. The 48 I didn't enjoy driving as much. And when I go out driving, I enjoy driving like fun and fast. And the 48 is a car that I want to go out and sort of romp on. So I really enjoyed it when I did drive it. But like Bear Mountain and whatever, I didn't just like take it out to dinner. And to put it into context, I put more miles on the 488 last year. Because I mean, I've got so many cars. Put more miles on the 488 than I did the NSX and the Supra and the Corvette combined.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the same time period. So like to be like, aha, you're doing this, and I'm like, no, it's like I've just got a lot of cars. I've got options, and like you have cars, and you're like, you just grab other keys. You don't be like, well, it's this car's turn.
Right.
You grab the keys to the car you want to drive, and that leaves some cars sort of sitting idle for a while.
I used to do that too. With how many cars do you have total? You're like
I don't know.
A dozen. Okay. Well, I have 8. So used to drive when I had like 4, drive every car at least 3,000 miles, daily driver, maybe 20,000 miles. Now I look like, because I'm changing the oil or whatever, like a lot of the cars I only drove 500 miles last year.
Yeah, but that's the thing in a year. And like 500 miles, you could do that in a weekend. And people are like, if I owned that car, I would do that in 2 days. We're like, well, you don't own the car. I do, and I own a bunch of other cars. And it's just like there's sometimes I'm in the mood for a certain car or another car. So like some cars just and maybe I just end up driving a car, and a lot of the times when I'm shifting through cars, it's just so the batteries don't die. And that's why my Ferraris seem to get a lot of use, because the batteries would die if I left them parked for too long. So then I would drive that for a week straight, and then I drive the other one for a week straight. So the Ferraris are right there consuming 2 weeks out of the month. And it's just like then I'm traveling. So you're really and then I have an effective season of driving up here.
Yeah.
So I mean I've got 7 months, 8 months of actual driving.
Yeah.
If even.
Because of this winter, it's still.
I mean, you've got like just say April, but April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and then you sort of park them.
Right.
So that's 7 months giving April. Which April was snowed the other day.
Yeah, and today was like 30 degrees.
It's 30 degrees outside. So, I mean, like, look, you've got 6 months of driving season here.
Yeah.
And if you have a bunch of cars, and like half the time, like I don't need to go drive a Ferrari so people know I have a Ferrari. So half the time I'm driving a $1,000 Mercedes or a BMW or something like that. And it's funny and even my Chevy Volt, it's funny when people went to give me shit about that. Like, oh yeah, the guy's going bankrupt. He's driving a $1,000 Mercedes. And I'm like, yeah, like it's just like you don't have to show off to prove to people that you have money. It's like a really weird thing, and it's one of those things that, like, and then this is what I really enjoy. And I don't engage with these people, but I'm like, yeah, I'm going bankrupt, yet I'm building a giant house. Right. Like, think about that. And like, I own all of these things, and I'm doing these businesses, yet you say I'm going bankrupt because I'm not spending money that you see. Me, like. I'm spending $50,000 on just getting the plans approved for my house between lawyers and engineers and architects and like, are you kidding me? Now that's not what broke people do. People do, but like it's something I have to spend money on. And honestly, I would like to spend more money, put less money into my cars and more money into my house until the house is done, because a car loan is much more beneficial than a home loan.
Sure.
A home loan, I feel like you pay 3x on over time. So I genuinely want to put as much cash as I can into the build and borrow as little as possible so I can keep the mortgage as low as possible and I can pay double the mortgage every month and make it go away real quick.
And who else has their own podcast studio here, right? That's worth something.
No,
You got to be doing well when you have your own podcast.
I will be putting a podcast studio. I'm looking for another warehouse as well. So when
I'll find you one.
well that's another business I'm opening
We'll
up.
do
But
it
when I open up this other business, I don't know. I like a podcast studio. I feel like does a lot better, less good in here, but better in like an automotive setting, or just something in a unique setting. Like even if it's in the, I was at a pizza place in Brooklyn. There was a little like podcast, like noise-proof podcast studio with a glass wall looking into the restaurant.
Really?
So you're like just sitting there eating pizza, watching these people podcast. I'm like, that's cool. Like that's like it's an ambiance. It's different than anything else. So.
Cool. Sweet. Did you watch Formula One today?
I did not, but well, go ahead. Tell me about it.
I was going to say Sebastian Vettel. So Ferrari won their second race, but Kimi Räikkönen, when he left the pits, he ran over like one of his tire guys.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, and broke his leg, I guess, in 2 places.
Yep.
Now, you actually drove, I think it's a video from years ago, right?
Yep.
You actually drove
a couple years
Formula
ago.
One car down in...
Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah. Now, how was that?
It was scary because it was pouring rain.
Oh.
Like, just my luck.
I saw the video, yeah, now that I'm remembering.
Just my luck. I mean, the thing topped out at 300 kilometers an hour, which is 186 miles an hour. And I had that thing pegged in the back straight with plenty to go.
Yeah.
So I'm doing 186 in a downpour on wet weather tires. And, like, I mean, it's raining. Like, I'm going to stop. Like, I had to accelerate again to get up to speed and to go through the turn. Like, it was that much. Like, all right, that's like I was flat out. You can check out the video. Maybe Jimbo will link to it. But the just driving that car in the rain was wild.
Yeah.
And like I don't know the limits. I'm in an F1 car for 4 laps,
Right.
And like having never experienced anything like that, and in a downpour of all things, like my neck kept snapping back and forth because like they
forces.
Well, they just stuff pillows in there so you can like, all right, how's that feel? But like you're not really sitting in the optimal position where you're a driver. You're sitting and the air goes over your helmet. When your head's sticking out a little bit, the air is going right into your helmet and whipping you back and forth. So
now, isn't that position kind of like it's almost like laying down? Right?
It's like laying down,
and your feet are elevated too.
Your
right?
feet. It's as if you're sitting up in a bed.
Okay.
So your feet are straight out on the pedals. I mean, look at the shape of the car. That's the only way it can
aren't
be.
Your feet like up higher? So if you were like leaning back, aren't your feet like elevated?
No, not really.
No? Okay.
Not that I remember.
And how was the aero? Did the aero work where you can go into a turn a lot faster?
Oh
than you
yeah,
thought,
I mean
and the car would just stick.
Well, remember, I was driving. There's 2 thresholds in Formula One. There's like just say you can go through a turn at 70 or 120. Anywhere in between, you're looping around. So you either have to be below 70 or at 120 to go through it. So like I was at the 70, not at the peak, but you really have to be at that threshold, or you have to really know what you're doing to go through there. But ultimately, that was
it's a good experience. You could always say that,
it would have been cool in the dry. I think I would have been much happier. I would have gone much harder if it was not pouring rain out.
And how was the gearbox going?
It was
up
cool.
And down through
It was a paddle shift.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It did have a clutch, but the clutch was just to start it.
Right?
From the clutch was to go from a stop, and then it was a paddle shift from there.
Cool.
But there in Formula D, I don't know if you guys keep up with Formula D. Was just out in California and Long Beach, and they have that one guy's running the Ferrari with the V12 Ferrari, not a Ferrari. It was like a 599 engine car, and of course that thing caught fire.
Oh.
So it was his first actual event. They've been hyping it up, and like I think like a suspension component broke off and snapped the fuel line. It was just a giant. The car was engulfed in flames. So proper Ferrari fire for whatever reason, but that's not an LS motor. That's going to cost that guy some
I can
money.
imagine.
And I know these Formula D guys aren't swimming in it. Although if you're going to put that much money into a into a drift car, then you may have more than most other teams.
Gotcha. So what's going on with your Supra? Are you still going to sell it, or?
My Supra, I will. You know what? I've been selling it forever.
Right.
I'm gonna sell it. I just don't. like I've got so much other stuff to do. I
Yeah.
don't actively sell it, and it's like, well, like if I list it for sale, maybe I'll put it on Bring a Trailer. Maybe I'll do it in the summer and see what happens. But like I'm just sort of lazy. It's like there's a difference if like I had to sell it.
Yeah.
I would sell it, but like now selling it is going to give me some other thing I have to do. Now I'm going to have to go find another one.
Right.
So
Well, the reason you're selling this is it has like 19,000 miles.
it's got 19,000 miles.
So you
on it.
want to sell that and then use some of that money to buy a higher mileage one you can drive.
Correct.
Right.
Now, it's part of me says like the thing's not going down in value anytime soon. So like
sure.
it's only going up in value. So the longer I sit on it, the more it's worth.
Yep.
So I'm not really in a position where I have to sell it, but I would happily sell it. I'm comfortable with what it's worth versus what I paid for it. And you know, it's funny. I looked at at like the old videos I forget what I was looking at, but I went back. I actually thought I put like 600 or 800 miles on it over 10 years. I actually got it with 17,000 and change on it. So I've put 2,000 miles on it.
That's better.
Yeah, 2,000 miles, but I did them all in like the 1 year when I got it running before I thought of it as a collector's piece. So it's when I was murdering race gas by the gallon.
And how many years ago you bought it?
I bought it in 07.
Oh wow, so they were cheap back then.
It was running in 09. And I was filming with it in like 9, 10, and like maybe 9 and 10, and it's really sad ever since.
Oh wow, since 2000.
Yeah, it really doesn't get a lot of use.
Now, do you think they're going to make a new Supra?
Yeah, that thing's stupid. The new Supra was like I was super excited about it for the first like 7 years they were talking about it. Now I don't care anymore.
It's like the NSX.
Yeah.
But it's based on like it's going to be with the BMW, right?
It's going to be like it's a BMW
Z5
platform. It's like the
yeah.
Mercury Sable Ford Taurus thing. Like you can't, or the BRZ FRS. You can't make the same car by two different companies and then think people are going to get excited, especially enthusiasts are going to get excited about it.
Enthusiasts will know the difference.
Yeah, but like you also can't call something a Supra if you're not making it a Supra. Look at all the companies that had success bringing back namesakes. They made the cars look like the old cars, and they had the same sort of soul as the old cars. If it was a big rear-wheel drive drag car, they made it a big rear-wheel drive drag car with a lot of horsepower. If they made it like it's like they all paid homage to the successful years of those cars and did like a throwback. Even the Ford GT.
Well, except the NSX, right? The new NSX.
Except the NSX, and that's why I said the NSX didn't do so well.
Yeah.
If the NSX was called the Toyota Hyper One, it would have done just fine. But you're trying to call it an NSX, and people are like, no, it's not. And that's the problem you run into.
Yeah, one of my friends bought the new NSX, which I like, just not at the price that it was, and got like 40,000 off sticker or something like that.
Yeah,
I think he leased it for like $1,600 a month or something.
$1,600 a month for an NSX. Yeah, you told me.
Yeah, which is pretty.
Look,
good.
I said the NSX, that new car, whatever you want to call it, NSX or whatever, is a $125,000 car. I think it's going to hover there for quite some time. So I think if you go buy one and keep it, $125. Now you got to feel bad for the suckers that paid $250, $260, went and drove the cars, paid $30 over list and everything like that to get their new NSX, and then the bottom dropped out. But that's the McLaren world too. It sucks being rich, but like never pay over sticker for a car. I don't know why people do.
Yeah, I mean, really whether it's you wait a week, a month, or 6 months, the price is going to come down.
Yeah.
What do you think of 570S's now are getting down to 150, 160? What's your opinion of that?
I mean, they were only like 180 to 200, right?
Yeah, most of the ones that I see at dealers are optioned to about 210.
Yeah. I mean, it's a solid car.
Yeah.
It just, again, it all comes down to whether it's under warranty or not. And McLarens are notorious, and until there's a significant aftermarket to handle these cars out of warranty, I think they'll all have a significant depreciation problem because, like I was saying with the e-auto warranty stuff, nobody wants to look at I have an electrical problem. Well, that's going to be $30,000. Well, shit, I just spent $120 on the car.
Right.
Now you're telling me like now I'm going to have to like hack together the car for $15,000 and feel like it's a victory for something I didn't do. I didn't push the button too many times. It's just a failure because of the quality of the car.
Right.
And that's what you get with newer models. But it just sucks that having stuff like that out of warranty. I think famously one of those guys, one of the rappers that had a Bugatti sold, I think it was Birdman, sold it because I think they wanted like $80,000 for a radiator or something like
No,
that.
it was
when
Lil Wayne, I think.
Lil Wayne, whatever.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. No, Flo Rida had a red one, and I think he got mad at the tires were like 40 grand or something.
Yeah,
like
tires
that.
were
Yeah, tires are really
$20,000.
expensive on that car. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, any of these guys, like, it just, I don't blame them. Like, nobody wants to write $100,000 check
Sure.
to maintain a car. Like, I spent the money to buy it. Like,
Right.
I don't want to spend the money to maintain it.
Right.
Especially if it's something like, there's nothing this radiator does that is so special. And I've always said that about like Ferrari, Lamborghini parts.
Mm-hmm.
And when they go in and be like, yeah, that fuel pump's $9,000. I'm like, look, my Supra pumps more fuel per fucking second than this car. Like, there's no way if my fuel pump cost me $350
Right.
that you have a $9,000 fuel pump in this car.
Right. It's
So
a Ferrari
Tell
tax.
me what the flow is, and I'm going to go buy a standard like Bosch in-tank fuel pump, and I'm going to shove it in there, and it'll work just fine.
Mm.
And that's what happens. And you get your $49 fuel pump instead of your $9,000 fuel pump, and that makes owning exotic cars palatable.
Mm.
Now, speaking of making things palatable, if you guys are feeling charitable and you want to see some behind-the-scenes stuff and have a direct line into these podcasts when they're filmed, you could check out our Patreon channel. That's patreon.com/superspeeders, and get into the behind-the-scenes executive team of Super Speeders. You're going to fund stuff such as, not really this podcast, but you'll fund stuff such as the challenge series, as in the $500 car challenge, first to get a ticket challenge, $1,000 car challenges, project car challenges, all that stuff that we enjoy doing that makes some pretty wicked and awesome content. You will have a hand in alleviating the cost for, so we can keep doing it in a more frequent basis. We're going to do it once a month, and we'd like to keep bringing you guys cool, fun content. We just can't while I'm building a house, and I'm bankrupt, according to you guys. I can't operate stuff that's losing money. It just doesn't make any sense. If you got a restaurant that makes no money at lunch but makes money at dinner, you probably stop serving lunch unless somebody gives you a reason to. So that's where we're at. Check out the Patreon. Also, you can check out, we've got the key tags, the Moto key tags. Those are cool.
Those are great.
They are great. That's one of the, like, my favorite, like, finished
They're
pieces
extremely
of
high
merch.
quality for what they are.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's just a good piece of merchandise.
yeah, I
So,
agree. And it's practical, which is nice.
practical. Check it out. And yeah, we appreciate the support. We appreciate you guys checking out the podcast. We appreciate the sponsors for helping put this on. Glenn, I thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome.
Jimbo, I thank you for overseeing us and doing your
worries.
thing.
Keep the thing going.
Maybe we'll make the background a little bit more consistent next time. Maybe I'll see if I get beat up in Texas for wearing this Montana cowboy hat. But lots of things that we'll find out next week. We'll see you then.